Life has a way of testing every single one of us. It throws storms, obstacles, and challenges that seem impossible to overcome. Some people break under the pressure, giving up when things get tough, while others rise stronger than ever. Strength is not something that is handed out freely. It is earned through pain, struggle, and the willingness to keep pushing forward no matter how difficult the road becomes. Hard times do not destroy real men, they create them. Every great man in history, every leader, warrior, and legend has been forged in the fire of adversity. None of them were born strong. Strength does not come from an easy life filled with comfort and convenience. It comes from hardship, from being pushed to the edge, from suffering losses and setbacks that seem unbearable. A man's true character is revealed when he is faced with difficulties. Does he crumble under pressure, or does he stand tall and fight? The world is built by those who refuse to break, by those who see hardship not as a curse but as an opportunity to grow. Pain is the greatest teacher a man can have. It forces him to confront his weaknesses, his fears, and his limitations. When everything seems to be falling apart, when the weight of the world feels too heavy to carry, that is when real growth happens. People who have never struggled, who have never suffered, will never understand what true strength is. They might think they are tough, but the moment they face real adversity, they collapse. That is the difference between a man who's been hardened by life and one who is being sheltered from it. The problem with the modern world is that it has become too easy. People no longer have to fight for survival like they once did. Food is available at the push of a button, comfort is prioritized over discipline, and struggle is avoided at all costs. But comfort breeds weakness. A life without hardship creates men who lack the resilience to handle real problems. When times are too easy, men grow soft. They lose the hunger to fight, the drive to improve, and the discipline to keep going even when things get tough. This is why history has always followed the same cycle. Strong men create good times create weak men create hard times, and hard times create strong men once again. Every civilization, every great empire has followed this pattern. When times are hard, men are forced to rise. They fight, they struggle, they build, and through their suffering, they create a better world. But once that better world is established, the next generation grows up without the same hardships. They become comfortable, entitled, and weak. They forget what it took to build the world they now enjoy, and as a result, they let it crumble. Then, once again, hard times return, and a new generation of strong men is forced to rise. This is the cycle of history, and it never changes. So the question is, where do you stand? Do you let challenges break you, or do you use them to forge yourself into something unshakable? Every man will face hardship at some point in his life. Whether it is financial struggles, heartbreak, betrayal, failure, or loss, there will come a time when everything seems to go against you. In that moment, you have a choice. You can give in, complain, and wait for someone to save you, or you can rise, take responsibility, and face the storm head on. Weakness is an option, but so is strength. A man who embraces struggle, who refuses to let hardship defeat him, will always come out stronger. Every challenge is an opportunity to grow. Every setback is a lesson. Every moment of pain is a chance to become better, tougher, and more resilient. Weak men look for excuses. Strong men look for solutions. The moment you decide to stop running from hardship and start facing it with everything you have, that is the moment you become truly powerful. In the end, the strongest men are not the ones who had an easy life. They are the ones who have suffered, who have been tested, who have fought battles that no one else could fight for them. They are the ones who refuse to quit no matter how hard it got. And when the weak men around them fall, when the ones who never learned to struggle break under pressure, the strong will remain standing. You cannot control the world around you, but you can control how you respond to it. You can choose to be weak, to give up when things get tough, to seek comfort over discipline, or you can choose to embrace the struggle, to fight through the pain, to come stronger with every hardship you face. The choice is yours, but remember this: when the world is at its hardest, that is when the strongest men are made. Be one of them. Life is not meant to be easy. It was never designed for comfort to be the norm. Throughout history, the strongest men were created not in times of peace and luxury, but in moments of chaos, struggle, and adversity. It is the fire of hardship that forges true strength, not the cushion of an easy life. Yet in today's world, comfort has become the ultimate goal, the standard by which success is measured. People seek convenience, avoiding difficulty at all costs. But what they fail to realize is that comfort breeds weakness, and weakness leads to inevitable failure. A man who's never been tested by hardship cannot truly know his strength. Strength is not built in times of ease, it is developed in moments of suffering. When a man is placed under immense pressure, when he is forced to fight through pain, that is when he grows. He learns resilience, discipline, and mental toughness. He understands what it means to struggle, to push forward when everything inside him wants to give up. But when life is too easy, when every need is met without effort, when there is no struggle, there is no reason to grow. A comfortable man becomes weak because he has never been forced to fight for anything. The world we live in today has removed nearly every form of natural hardship that once shaped men into warriors, leaders, and conquerors. Food is available at the push of a button, information is delivered instantly, and people no longer have to struggle to survive. While technological progress has made life easier, it has also created generations of men who lack the fire of their ancestors. They do not have the same hunger, the same determination, or the same drive to push through difficulty because they have never had to. They live in a world where comfort is prioritized over discipline, where struggle is seen as something to be avoided rather than embraced. This mindset is dangerous because it leads to weakness on every level, physically, mentally, and emotionally. A man who grows up in an environment without hardship will never develop the ability to handle real challenges. He will crumble at the first sign of difficulty because he has never been taught how to endure pain. He will seek the easiest path, avoiding anything that requires effort or sacrifice. This is why so many people today lack resilience. They expect life to be smooth and effortless, and when it is not, they do not know how to cope. They look for excuses, they blame others, they retreat into their comfort zones, never realizing that it is the very thing holding them back from becoming great. In contrast, the strongest men are those who embrace hardship. They do not seek comfort, they seek challenge. They understand that pain is temporary, but the lessons it teaches are permanent. They know that in order to become the best version of themselves, they must be willing to suffer, to endure, to push through the discomfort that weak men avoid. These are the men who rise when others fall, who keep moving forward when everything seems impossible. They are not broken by hardship, they are strengthened by it. History has shown that every great civilization follows the same pattern. Hard times create strong men who fight, struggle, and build something great. Their sacrifices create good times, a period of peace and prosperity. But in those good times, men grow soft. They no longer have to fight for survival. They no longer have to endure pain. They become weak, complacent, and entitled. And eventually that weakness leads to collapse. The cycle repeats. Weak men create hard times create strong men. And strong men create good times once again. This pattern is not just true on a large scale, it applies to individuals as well. A man who chooses comfort over discipline will eventually find himself unable to handle real challenges. A man who seeks only pleasure, who avoids hardship, will never develop the strength required to achieve greatness. But a man who willingly puts himself through difficulty, who seeks out struggle rather than running from it, will become unstoppable. He will not fear failure because he has faced it before. He will not be broken by pain because he has learned to endure it. Every man must ask himself a simple question. Does he want to be weak or strong? Does he want to live a life of comfort, knowing that it will eventually lead to failure? Or does he want to embrace the struggle, knowing that it will make him into something greater? The answer is in his actions, in the choices he makes every day. Strength is not given, it is earned. It is built through discipline, through suffering, through the willingness to push beyond what is comfortable. At the end of the day, the strongest men are not the ones who had an easy life. They are the ones who faced hardship head on and refused to back down. They are the ones who pushed through pain, who endured suffering, who embraced the struggle rather than running from it. And when others around them faltered, when the weak fell apart under pressure, these men stood tall, unshakable and unstoppable. Life will not always be easy. There will be moments when everything seems to be against you, but those moments are opportunities. They are tests designed to separate the weak from the strong. Will you break or will you rise? The choice is yours. But remember this, comfort breeds weakness and hardship creates strength. If you want to be truly strong, you must be willing to suffer. You must be willing to struggle. And if you do, you will come out the other side unbreakable. Life is a relentless test, a battlefield where only the strongest survive. It does not grant strength freely. It demands effort, resilience, and the ability to endure hardship. Every struggle, every challenge, every failure is a lesson, a trial meant to mold and shape those who refuse to break. The strongest individuals are not those who've been shielded from pain, but those who have faced it, fought against it, and emerged stronger on the other side. Hard times do not destroy men, they create them. Pain is the greatest teacher, far superior to comfort or ease. It forces a man to confront his weaknesses, to acknowledge his limitations, and to push beyond them. There is no growth without struggle, no success without sacrifice. A man who has never faced difficulty will never understand his true potential. He will never know how far he can go, how much he can endure, or how strong he can truly be. It is only through hardship that true strength is built. The pain of failure teaches lessons that success never could. The sting of defeat forces a man to analyze, to learn and improve. Those who run from pain, who seek comfort at all costs, rob themselves of the opportunity to grow. The world has changed, and with it, the way people approach life. In the past, survival required strength. Men had to fight, to struggle, to endure. Hard work was a necessity, and those who lacked resilience were left behind. But now, society has made everything easier. Food is readily available, technology has simplified life, and challenges are seen as inconveniences rather than opportunities for growth. Comfort has become the new standard, and with it, weakness has spread. When people no longer have to struggle for survival, they lose the ability to handle adversity. They become soft, incapable of facing even the smallest difficulties. They crumble under pressure because they have never been forced to develop the strength to endure hardship. A man who has never suffered does not understand the value of strength. He has never been tested, never been pushed to his limits. He has lived a life of ease, shielded from the very experiences that create true resilience. When a challenge finally arises, he does not know how to handle it. He panics, he gives up, he seeks excuses. Weakness is a choice, a consequence of avoiding struggle rather than embracing it. Strength, on the other hand, is also a choice. It is the result of facing adversity head on, of refusing to break under pressure, of using pain as fuel to become something greater. History has proven this time and time again. Every great civilization, every powerful empire has been built by men who faced hardships and overcame them. Hard times force people to be strong, to fight, to build. But as those struggles fade, as comfort takes over, the next generation grows weak. They have never known real hardship, never faced true adversity. They take for granted what their ancestors fought to create, and inevitably this weakness leads to collapse. Hard time return and the cycle repeats. Weak men create hard times create strong men create good times, and good times create weak men. This cycle does not just apply to civilizations, it applies to individuals as well. A man who refuses to struggle will never reach his full potential. He will remain stagnant, trapped in a life of mediocrity. But a man who embraces pain, who sees hardship as an opportunity rather than an obstacle, will rise above the rest. He will develop the discipline, the resilience, and the strength necessary to succeed in anything he pursues. He will not crumble under pressure because he has been through worse. He will not fear failure because he has already learned from it. Every man must ask himself a simple question: will he allow hardship to break him, or will he use it to become stronger? When life gets difficult, when everything seems to be falling apart, that is the moment of truth. Weak men will complain, will seek comfort, will look for the easy way out. Strong men will stand firm, will embrace the struggle, will push forward despite the pain. This is what separates those who succeed from those who fail. Success is not given, it is earned through sacrifice, through discipline, through an unbreakable will. The strongest men in history were not born into greatness. They were shaped by their struggles, hardened by their pain, and made powerful by their ability to endure. They did not seek comfort, they sought challenge. They understood that true growth only comes through suffering, that real success is built on a foundation of perseverance. The weak avoid discomfort, hoping for an easy life. The strong embrace it, knowing that it is the only way to become better. Pain is temporary, but the lessons it teaches last forever. Every hardship, every failure, every setback is an opportunity to grow. A man who understands this will never fear struggle, he will welcome it. He will push himself beyond his limits, knowing that with every challenge, he is becoming stronger. And when others fall, when the weak give up, he will keep going. He will rise not because he was given strength, but because he built it. The world does not reward those who seek comfort, it rewards those who endure, who fight, who refuse to give up. The greatest victories are won by those who have faced the greatest battles. The strongest men are those who have suffered the most, who have been beaten down and still found the strength to rise again. Life will not always be easy, but that is the point. Hard times exist to separate the weak from the strong, to test those who are willing to push beyond their limits. The choice is simple: be weak and let life break you, or be strong and embrace the struggle. Every hardship is an opportunity. Every challenge a chance to become something greater. Do not run from pain, use it. Let it shape you, let it strengthen you. Let it turn you to the kind of man who cannot be broken. Because in the end, the world belongs to those who refuse to quit. Be one of them. Life has always been a battlefield where only the strongest survive. It does not grant strength freely, it demands effort, resilience, and the ability to endure hardship. The greatest men in history were not born into strength and power. They were shaped by struggle, by adversity, and by the relentless trials that life threw at them. The world does not create strong men in times of comfort and ease. It is in the darkest moments, in the hardest battles, in the face of pain and suffering, that true strength is forged. Hard times do not break real men, they make them. Struggle is not something to be feared, it is something to be embraced. It is through struggle that a man learns who he truly is. When life becomes difficult, when every path seems blocked, when failure feels inevitable, that is the moment that separates the weak from the strong. A man who has never suffered, never been tested, never had to push past his limits, will crumble at the first sign of adversity. He has never learned how to fight because he has never had to. But a man who has endured hardship, who has fought through pain, who has refused to give up even when the odds were against him, he is unbreakable. The problem with today's world is that it has become too easy. The struggles that once built great men have been replaced by comfort and convenience. Food is available at the push of a button. Entertainment is endless, and people are no longer forced to fight for survival. This has created a generation that fears discomfort, that avoids struggle, that seeks the easiest path instead of the most rewarding one. But comfort breeds weakness. A man who has never faced real hardship does not know what he is capable of. He does not know how to endure because he has never had to. He does not know how to fight because he has never been pushed to his breaking point. Weakness is not something a man is born with. It is something he chooses when he avoids the struggles that would have made him stronger. A man's true potential is revealed only when he is tested. He does not know how strong he is until he has no choice but to fight. Pain is the greatest teacher, far superior to comfort or ease. It forces a man to confront his weaknesses, to acknowledge his limitations, and to push beyond them. Without hardship, there is no growth. Without struggle, there is no progress. A man who has never experienced pain will never understand the value of perseverance. He will never know the satisfaction of pushing past his limits, of achieving something that once seemed impossible. He will never know what it means to truly be strong. History has shown that strength is born from adversity. Every great empire, every powerful nation, every legendary figure was shaped by hardship. Hard times force people to rise, to fight, to build. But as those struggles fade, as comfort replaces difficulty, the next generation grows weak. They take for granted what their ancestors fought to create. They become complacent, entitled, and unprepared for the challenges that life will inevitably throw at them. As their weakness spreads, society begins to crumble. The cycle repeats. Weak men create hard times. Hard times create strong men create good times, and good times create weak men. This cycle is inescapable and applies not only to civilizations but to individuals as well. A man who avoids hardship, who seeks only comfort, will never reach his full potential. He will remain stagnant, trapped in a life of mediocrity. But a man who embraces struggle, who sees every challenge as an opportunity to grow, will rise above the rest. He will not fear failure because he has learned from it. He will not crumble under pressure because he has been through worse. He will push himself beyond his limits, knowing that every hardship makes him stronger. Every man must ask himself one simple question: will he allow hardship to break him, or will he use it to become stronger? When life gets difficult, when everything seems to be falling apart, that is the moment of truth. Weak men will complain, will seek comfort, will look for the easy way out. Strong men will stand struggle, will embrace this forward despite the pain. This is what separates those who succeed from those who fail. Success is not given, it is earned through sacrifice, through discipline, through an unbreakable will. The strongest men in history were not born into greatness. They were shaped by their struggles, hardened by their pain, and made powerful by their ability to endure. They did not seek comfort, they sought challenge. They understood that true growth only comes through suffering, that real success is built on a foundation of perseverance. The weak avoid discomfort, hoping for an easy life. The strong embrace it, knowing that it is the only way to become better. Pain is temporary, but the lessons it teaches last forever. Every hardship, failure, every setback is an opportunity to grow. A man who understands this will never fear struggle. He will welcome it. He will push himself beyond his limits, knowing that with every challenge he is becoming stronger. And when others fall, when the weak give up, he will keep going. He will rise not because he was given strength, but because he built it. The world does not reward those who seek comfort. It rewards those who endure, who fight, who refuse to give up. The greatest victories are won by those who have faced the greatest battles. The strongest men are those who have suffered the most, who have been beaten down and still found this to rise again. Life will not always be easy, but that is the point. Hard times exist to separate the weak from the strong, to test those who are willing to push beyond their limits. The choice is simple: be weak and let life break you, or be strong and embrace the struggle. Every hardship is an opportunity, every challenge a chance to become something greater. Do not run from pain. Use it. Let it shape you. Let it strengthen you. Let it turn you into the kind of man who cannot be broken. Because in the end, the world belongs to those who refuse to quit. Be one of them.